Does it really do what Nintendo? So the Sega Genesis came out 2 years before the Super Nintendo. And we've seen the Super Nintendo Mini, we've seen the Nintendo Mini, and now we have the Genesis.
Don't talk to me or my son ever again.
Got Justin here because Justin owned a Genesis. I did not.
When I was given the choice of buying a Super Nintendo or a Sega Genesis, and I sat in Hills, spent probably the longest half hour of my life deciding on which one to get, and I ended up with the Sega.
Do you regret your decision, or did you really enjoy your Sega?
I really enjoyed my Sega. I mean, there were definitely some games for the Super Nintendo that came out that I was like, really want to play that. But, I had friends.
And then they were probably looking at yours going, I really want to play that.
Yeah, basically.
Playing Sega right now.
The only way to be happy was to have both of them.
Rich kids had it too easy.
Yeah, right. Can I ask you an important question, though?
Yeah.
Are you a Sega player, or are you a Sega player?
No, I'm
Sega.
So I never had a Sega Genesis, and we've got one on the shelf now, so we've got one now. But back in the day, did not have a Sega Genesis, and so there were a lot of games I totally missed out on, and that's why I was pretty excited to play them like this. And before I get into the actual games, because that's what this is all about, is playing these old retro games and stuff, I want to talk about the hardware for just a second. It's extremely similar to the original, and this is going to fool a lot of people. There's a volume knob on here, and it looks like a headphone jack on the front. It's fake. It's all fake, guys. It's just for your nostalgia heartstrings.
Yep.
Yeah. Fake news.
Fake news, guys.
The power and the reset button do work, and we've got the big toggle switch here, which is cool. This is it's modeled after the original Gen. It's also called the MegaDrive if you're anywhere else, but the Genesis here. And on the back, we just have HDMI and a micro USB for powering, and on the front, we have 2 USB ports. Now check this out, the little expansion slot over here, they even have that on this, even though it's just a dummy slot. You can open it up here, and you've got like your expansion, and then you got your cartridge slot on the Genesis Mini. The cartridge slot is just a dummy slot. There's nothing inside there. You know how cool it would have been to have a Mini 32X? Like, that would be such a cool accessory. I would get that. I'm not even going to get into the specs of the CPU and stuff. It's just under the hood. There's no fan, so it's completely silent. The hardware they have is going to be, it's going to specifically work with these games just fine. And I was gonna get into all that nerdy stuff, but that's not what this is about. Like talking about the frequency of the CPU and all that sort of stuff. It plays everything back perfectly. So the emulation I didn't notice anything weird. It's like one-to-one
no
perfect.
Slowdown, nothing like that. So
especially when there's a lot of characters on the screen, that's something that might even be better than the original. I don't remember the original, but I remember a lot of the old school games would slow down if there was too much happening, too many effects.
I definitely.
It's also there's no scan lines and stuff if you're playing it back on a TV or a monitor modern these days. So anyway, classic games. Let's talk about a few of the games we played.
It's got 42 games total on it. So a lot of Capcom games, a lot of Sega IP, occasional other stuff here and there, but mostly Capcom and Sega and stuff. But there's a couple Disney games on here, actually, weirdly enough. Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse and The World of Illusion. But we also have Altered Beast, which is my favorite.
You just powering up and flying around the screen.
Power up! Yeah, it's even on the screen right now. Oh my god. But Altered Beast is
you guys are everyone's gonna know.
Best half hour you'll have playing a video.
I'm gonna get judged so hard for playing this stuff because I have no idea what I'm doing with a Genesis. I'm just what am I doing right now?
Oh yeah, but we've got Comic Zones on there, which was a great one. It's got Earthworm Jim on there, which worth the price alone. Golden Axe, Streets of Rage 2, which is pretty solid. I would have liked to see Golden Axe 3 on there, but that's just me because I like playing as the Panther guy. Gunstar Heroes, Kid Chameleon, Light Crusader, which was the most interesting game where nothing happened.
I don't care.
Oops. I think something extraordinary is going on. Logan was playing it. We kept on waiting for something to go down, and so far he just jumped through a marketplace and pushed some people.
You can't really, pushing people around in that game is hilarious. But a lot of the games that are RPGs and stuff, we can't really just get into them and show them off for a quick video. But you guys know what they are. If you want to play Phantasy Star 4, it's on here. You guys can sit down and play that for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And even if you've never played it before and you want to play some of these JRPGs, you're going to probably enjoy those.
Oh yeah, it's got Monster World 4 on here. It's got Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Sonic Spinball.
But no Sonic 3.
No, but it has also Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
Which is basically
awesome.
Dr. Mario, but a little different, but better maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really like puzzle games, but if you say it's better, then it is because you like puzzle games.
I do. Streets of Rage
2.
Streets of Rage 2. I'm sorry. Street Fighter 2. Turbo Edition. Or Ultimate Edition? Championship. They came out with like 16 Special Champion Edition.
Okay, that's gonna,
not even Championship. Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition.
Okay, Street Fighter's gonna bring me to my first gripe. Now, these controllers feel very, very much like the original, and that's it's neither here nor there. It's basically like, do you like the original Genesis controller? Then you're really, really gonna like this one because it's basically the same thing with a 6-foot cord, right? Instead of the 3-foot cord that came with the Nintendo, this one has a 6-foot cord. So you guys
nicer on your eyes.
Yeah, and for all the people complaining about it not being wireless, guys, it's the price point is not going to be wouldn't be nearly as competitive if they had wireless controllers in there. So you guys know that the Genesis originally shipped with a 3-button controller, so there's this is going to be a big nostalgia point. But they also released a 6-button controller because it got really cumbersome having to toggle between kicks and punches with the start button when you play in a game like Street Fighter that had multiple stuff. Where's kick? How do you kick? It just was ridiculous, or using the start button to block in games like Mortal Kombat, which is not on here. But that really got annoying, so they made a 6-button controller, and for just a couple of games. There's not much on here that really needs the 6-button controller, but it would have been nice to have for Street Fighter. So I kind of wish they would have given us that controller and more games, but that wouldn't have the same nostalgic impact, and I think that was part of the decision, but I think it was a wrong decision. Sometimes nostalgia isn't always the best, like cassette tapes. Nostalgia shouldn't bring those back.
We do.
All right, we're trying an Xbox controller right now because it is USB. All right, Xbox controller does not work. So you guys are going to need to use the original controllers that came with it, meaning you're going to be limited to the 3 buttons. And the other thing that's interesting about this, and a lot of these old retro consoles that always makes me scratch my head, there's so many interesting games that were released for the Genesis and the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo and all these older consoles. 42 games, that's a good chunk of game. Echo the Dolphin's on here too. We've got like Contra, a whole bunch of games on here.
You got your Tetrises.
There's like thousands of games that came out back then, and limiting these things to 40 is a bit weird. So if you're someone who's like got the knowledge and can build yourself a Raspberry Pi, or if you have a Senpai already and you have the lock installed on there, this is not going to be a system for you unless, of course, you want it for the nostalgia value. So this is not going to be for the uber nerds and a lot of the guys in the comments right now who are already typing like, actually, I'm so skilled that I built 44 emulators in the time that you made this video. I get it. You built, yeah, you guys are. That's awesome.
Good for you.
And that's what I've done as well. I've built Raspberry Pi emulation stations. You've got the whole console over there with a gazillion games on it. You can fill it full of as many ROMs as you want. But this is a different animal, and it's going to be much easier to use. That's the other thing, is those always have like a learning curve. There's frustrations if like your games don't load up correctly. You're like, whereas this one, you turn it on and it just works.
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely paying for the nostalgia.
Yeah.
There's a couple games on here that I kind of wish I saw that I don't. I mean, I get why they're not on there because of licensing and things like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Toe Jam and Earl's on there. I would have liked to see Toe Jam and Earl Panic on Funkatron.
That's the other thing. I couldn't understand why sometimes you'd see, like Sonic 3, why is it not on here? Like, that's a Sega game. They could have easily...
Sonic and Knuckles,
that could have been on here.
Yeah.
And then, like, the Streets of Rage 3, like, why is that not on here? Like, that one would have been a great game. That's, like, what is the decision that's made? Because you could have fit, like, the entire Genesis library on the tiniest memory card.
Absolutely.
It would have been no big deal.
No problem.
So I never understood why there's limitations, but that's just know that there are. One of the things that sets this apart from all the others, other than the fact that the cables are longer for the controllers, is the fact that this one supports save states at any time.
Which is beautiful.
That's the most important part of emulation that was left off of the Nintendo consoles. So anytime you're playing, you don't have to go to any special save spot, and you don't even have to use the save functionality in the game. You can just hold the start button down for several seconds or hit the reset button. It brings up a menu, and then you have 3 save states for every single game. Yep. That's like 4? Well, whatever it is.
3 to 4.
That is like, especially if you're playing some of the RPGs and the more involved games, being able to save at any point, or if you're playing like a game that's really frustrating and has like a jump that you never get over. And let's face it, you're adults, you don't have time to replay the same level 400 times. Now you can do a save state and just reload that same part a few times, and it's essentially cheating, but
Who cares?
It makes your life better. Yeah. So save states,
Quick saves, yeah.
Yeah,
All
quick
that
saves,
stuff.
huge deal. So ultimately, I mean, for the price tag, it's hard not to recommend this. If you're someone who's already built your own little mini console, then maybe not for you. But for the vast majority of people out there, I think they're going to love this. This is one of the things you plug in whenever you have friends over. And instead of playing like board games and stuff like that, you could play a few of these and then play board games, or just sit around and play some of the
Blow a
RPGs
little
on
kid's
this.
mind.
Yeah.
Like, showing him all this stuff.
This is where games came from.
Yes.
You'll be sitting around giving him a lecture about like, yeah, games never used to hold your hand. Nowadays, all the games have an arrow on the screen telling you where to go. Then you load up like one of the 2D fighting games, and as soon as you clear the screen, ding, ding, go left, go left.
Ding. To be fair, every single game was going from left to right for the most part,
Yeah.
though, so it wasn't any mystery involved. We're in the holiday season right now. I think this would make a good gift for a lot of friends that you know are into video games and stuff like that, even if they're uber gamers and stuff like that. The nostalgia kick alone is enough to be like, yeah, remember this guy? You know.
I'm telling you, the save state feature is the biggest selling point for me. That's number one. Like, that's it. Just that little extra bit of the hey, it's an emulator. We can do this. Let's do it. That was nice.
Here's the thing.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I'm not sure what the screen is even
My
saying right
lost
now.
father, King Thor, was alive on the planet Paper Rock. Why is it named Paper Rock?
What game is this from?
Everyone there is an expert in a game called Paper Rock Scissors. Not even rock paper scissors.
No, not even
If a
Rochambeau.
visitor is no good at that game, he won't last long. My family didn't want me to go. I don't know.
What game is this?
I don't know what this one is.
All right, well,
Alex Kidd. Okay.
Did you not play Alex Kidd?
Not for a long time.
Alex Kidd has great stories back in the day in these old games. Just amazing, gripping stories.
Like coming from Paper Rock.
Yes. I got nothing else to say about this machine. I want to know in the comments if you guys are going to get one or not, and what you think of the implementation. I mean, it looks spot on compared to the old version.
Yeah.
So, Mini. Get one of these if you want to not struggle. Grab yourself a t-shirt, epicpants.com, and we'll see you guys in the comments.